The topic to be discussed in this video is application of satellite technology in IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things, which is a network used to connect the things on the internet using wired or wireless communications. By using either wired or wireless communications, connect the IoT devices through an internet. In order to extend IoT coverage beyond cities into remote regions, satellite and IoT networks are merged together. In order to extend IoT coverage beyond cities into remote regions, satellite and IoT networks are merged together. Generally, IoT stands for Internet of Things, which is a network used to connect things on the internet using wired or wireless connection. Generally, in remote areas, some areas that connectivity is not possible. That is the reason we choose satellite communication. Satellite is used to provide network coverage to remote inaccessible areas on the Earth. Next important point here is satellite is used to provide network coverage to remote inaccessible areas on the Earth. Some hill stations are there. Example is hill stations. This integrated network will extend the IoT coverage to larger and further parts of the Earth with the help of satellite. This integrated network will extend the IoT coverage to larger and further parts of the Earth. With the help of satellite. See this figure, see the Earth station, satellite. These are the sensor nodes. These are the sensor nodes which are used to sense the surrounding regions information, collect that information, that sends that information to base station, or sometimes it is called as the gateway node. That means indirect access means these sensor nodes are not directly connected to satellite. Through base station or gateway network, gateway node, these sensor nodes are connected to satellite. Here some Earth station is also there. Earth station send a signal to satellite with the help of transponder in the satellite, receives the signals from the Earth station and amplify that signals and perform some actions on that signal and send back to another Earth stations on another path. In that communication, the satellite acts as a repeater. Receives the signals from the Earth station and send back to signal to Earth stations. These are the terminal stations or Earth stations. That is direct. This is the direct access. Indirect access means instead of sensor nodes connected to that satellite through gateway node, these sensor nodes are connected to satellite. Coming to definition of satellite, a satellite is basically a self-contained communication system with the able to receive signals from Earth and to retransmit these signals back with the use of transponder. A satellite is basically a self-contained communication system with the ability to receive signals from Earth and to retransmit these signals back to Earth station in another point with the help of transponder. The use of transponder. Satellite communication in telecommunications, the use of artificial satellites to provide communication links between various points on the Earth. The use of artificial satellites to provide communication and communication links between various points on the Earth. This is the satellite uses transponder. Earth station generates the signal with the help of access mechanisms. That information is sent to satellite. The transponder is equipped with the satellite. The transponder receives the information from the Earth station, transmitting Earth station, and examine that information, and something is added to that information and resent back to the receiving Earth station. Some devices are IoT devices are directly access to the satellite. Some IoT devices are indirectly access to the satellite through gateway node. These are the things related to satellite communication. Consider sixth generation. 6G stands for sixth generation wireless communication system. It is expected to realize a universal coverage for massive IoT networks by 2030. These are the machine type devices, MTC devices, machine type communication devices. These devices are placed in a city, ocean area, desert area, forest area, high-speed scenarios, mountain area. These are the polar areas. These are the polar areas. Above that polar area, some satellites are placed here. Lower Earth orbit satellite, geostationary orbit satellite. Lower Earth orbit satellite is an satellite. In this case, an Earth center orbit near the planet. An Earth is centered in case of lower Earth orbit satellite. In case of geostationary orbit satellites, geostationary orbit of 36,000 kilometers from the Earth's equator. From the Earth's equator, the geostationary satellite distance is 36,000 kilometers. Where satellites are placed here for communication purpose. Sixth communications. The sixth generation stands for wireless communication is expected to realize universal coverage for massive IoT networks by 2030. Very, very important point. The sixth generation (6G) stands wireless is expected to realize universal coverage for massive IoT networks by 2030. Satellite-based communication are recognized as a highly promising technical enabler to satisfy IoT service requirements in the 6G era. Satellite. These are some satellites. Geostationary orbit satellites, lower Earth orbit satellites. Satellite-based communication are recognized as highly promising technical enabler to satisfy IoT requirements in the 6th generation era. IoT services in the 6th generation era, such as location tracking, environmental monitoring, and global disaster predictions and global disaster predictions. There are some important points related to utilization of satellite in IoT. That is the 6G communications. In order to extend the IoT features everywhere on the earth point, that means remote area regions, wired and wireless communications are not possible. In that such a scenario, we go for satellite technology. Satellite technology is used to cover each and every point on the earth to provide communication among all these devices.